So now that all 6 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi have aired, it's time to take a look back and see if it was all worth the hype. Every scene with Darth Vader in it is gold. In the original trilogy, he was an iconic character, but he never really did that much evil stuff. He mainly killed Imperial officers, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, of course, but he came back as a Force ghost, so that was alright. It wasn't until Rogue One that we got to see him taking down rebel soldiers single-handed, and this show builds on that, as we see him kill innocent men, women and children, as he should have been doing all along. Plus we get the scene where he stops a spaceship taking off, using his Force powers, which is amazing. I've said it before, but of all the Star Wars spin-off shows they could make, Darth Vader has to be top of the list. Especially if they bring back Hayden Christensen, as they did here. He may not show his face much beyond a brief flashback scene where he battles with Obi-Wan, but it is all worth it for that final confrontation scene, where you hear Anakin's voice coming out of the mask. You do get the feeling that when they were conceiving the series, they may have started with that scene and worked backwards. Ewan McGregor is another high point. He has a strong emotional character arc throughout the 6 episodes, starting off as a closed-off hermit, content to just watch and not do anything, working through his guilt over what happened to Anakin, and then at the end becoming much more happy and outgoing. He's a fine actor, and he never got the chance to show that in the prequels, so at least here he has some good footage for his show reel, if actors at his level still have those. I'm not sure if it was a story that really needed to be told. Certainly the Obi-Wan at the end of episode 3 is quite similar to the one at the start of episode 4. You don't really get the sense that he's been on all sorts of adventures in the meantime. So it's not really an essential part of the Star Wars canon, but it's fun for what it is. The actress who played Reva got a lot of racist abuse, apparently, seemingly for no other reason than daring to be a black woman in a Star Wars show. Her performance certainly doesn't deserve that level of criticism. She's clearly doing her best with the material she has to work with. It's the writing of the character that's at fault, really. You never really get a sense of what's going on with her, whose side she's on, or who she's going to stab with the lightsaber next. Maybe a few more flashbacks would have helped, showing how she went from Jedi youngling to Inquisitor in the first place. That might have made her character a bit easier to follow. I gave young Leia a bit of stick in my last video for being an annoying, precocious brat. I may have been a bit too harsh on her. She does calm down in later episodes, and the one where she's captured and interrogated, she is quite impressive. I still wouldn't really want to see a series that focused on young Leia, to be honest. But I know they are doing that whole young Cassian Andor Birth of the Rebellion show, so she may pop up with that. And good luck to her. All the other actors in the show don't really get that much chance to stand out, really. Indira Varna's character is certainly interesting. An Imperial officer who's secretly working for the rebels before the rebels even exist. It's a shame she got killed off. It would have been nice to see more of her. Kumail Nanjiani also makes a good impression. He provides some much needed humour to the show. Aside from that, nobody really gets the time to stand out. Episode 4 in particular introduces a whole load of rebel characters who we never really get to spend any time with, and then when one of them dies at the end, like, who cares? All the characters are like, oh no, they killed Wade, and I was like, which one was Wade? Who was that? I'm not the first one to point this out, but the 6 episodes of the series correspond to the 6 movies that Obi-Wan Kenobi was in. Episode 1 is largely set on Tatooine, much like The Phantom Menace. Episode 2 is based on a grimy industrial planet, much like Coruscant in Attack of the Clones. At the end of episode 3 is Vader fighting a duel to the death with Kenobi, as in Revenge of the Sith. Episode 4 has him sneaking onto an Imperial base to rescue Princess Leia, as happened in A New Hope. This does explain why Leia's so blasé about it all in the movie. She's always been to it once. Then in episode 5, all the rebels are trapped in a mountain base under siege by the Empire, which of course happened in... Well, it didn't happen in this one, it happened in The Last Jedi, so this doesn't really fit. But it does make the show feel like a kind of grab bag, a mix and match of all the best bits from the other Star Wars projects. There's nothing really new here, nothing to get excited about beyond the odd fleeting moment of coolness. A lot of people have pointed out the similarities to the video game Jedi Fallen Order, which I haven't played. But it turns out you can get it quite cheap now, so I have bought my copy. And hopefully with it being interactive, it'll be a lot more fun to play than the show was to watch. Well, there was a lot of fan service throughout the show, particularly the Vader scenes. But at the end of episode 6, there's a lot of moments designed purely to please fans. Kenobi meets Luke and says, "Hello there," just like he did that one time in one of the movies. Vader has a chat with the Emperor, and it's Ian McDiarmid back again, because he can't turn down a paycheck. Qui-Gon Jinn pops up and reveals himself to Obi-Wan. "Yes, I've been watching you all this time. Yes, even when you were doing that." It's all very obvious, but still a lot of fun. Putting all those moments at the end of the final episode is guaranteed to leave the fans thinking, "Wow, that was excellent." But if you think about it for a little while, it really wasn't. So it's cheating, really. The obvious question is, will there be a second series? Ewan McGregor has said he'd be up for it, and if they can get Liam Neeson to do more than just a cameo, then it would have a very different feel to it, with lots of banter between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. I kind of hope they don't keep going, though. There is a lot of diminishing returns, and there's only so many prequels to A New Hope you can do. We've already had the whole prequel trilogy, then Rogue One, now this. I wouldn't class myself as a hardcore Star Wars fan by any means, but I think even the biggest fan would rather see some new characters in a new time period just for a change. Well, that's all for this week. Next week, I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing, but I'm sure it'll be exceptionally entertaining. So why don't you like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to see what I'm doing next. Bye!